What's up, OMG Nation? Today, I told you guys on Wednesday that I was going to do an interview with Tina. She's in the HOG Chapter with me, and she had an accident. So I'm going to ask her a couple of questions, and the intention of this video is to help prevent it ever happening to Tina again or anyone else. If you could take a small nugget away from this interview and protect yourself on the road, that's the reason behind this video. So are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So Tina, talk about what led up to the accident, where you guys were going, or how long the trip was, or just anything like that.
Well, I don't know exactly the destination or how long. It was a regular chapter ride, and we were going for lunch at a steakhouse.
Okay.
And it was down south more towards Alabama border.
Okay.
So I don't really know how long or how far that was.
When you were about to have your accident, or you started to have the accident, what was going through your head at that moment? Tell me what happened to you, and then what was going through your head.
Well, when I was right before the accident, I was pointing out gravel to let everybody know there was a dangerous situation coming upon them.
Okay.
Which you usually do with your foot. And I looked down, saw the gravel, and I looked up, and right then I knew I had a problem because I was too far over to the right and I couldn't get the turn.
Couldn't make the turn. What happened when you went off the road?
Well, what it was is I went around the turn. When I went around the turn, the road, there was no signage or anything letting us know, but the road cut back in.
Oh.
So when you come around, and I was so far on the edge of the road, I was by the white line because we were riding staggered.
Mm-hmm.
Which, riding staggered,
Right.
coming around, and I went around the corner, and then the road cut back in, not realizing that, and the front tire stayed on the road, but the back did not.
So when you actually hit the ground, were you still in the road, or did you come off of the road?
I was half and half.
Half
The
and half.
front tire was on the road, and I skid on the frame sideways. The frame was sideways, so the bike was forward.
Right.
The back of the bike was like this, and I skid for 47 feet.
Oh, wow.
And then something stopped. Now, some people say it was either a kickstand got caught, or some people think that the dirt built up in the pipes.
Yeah.
But when it stopped, that's what threw me off the bike.
So you were sliding backwards then, if the dirt
No,
was building
forward.
up forward.
I was sliding forward, but the back of the bike was turned
Okay.
off. So, like, if here was the road, and you come around the corner and your bike's here, the back part of the bike was like that,
I
but
got
the
you.
front tire was facing
Okay.
forward. So I didn't even realize it until I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I saw the back part of my bike.
So at that point, you realized that you were having the accident. What was the first thought?
Oh, that was the very first thought was, oh, this is happening. That's what went through my head was, oh, this is happening. Brace yourself. I just knew it was going to happen.
And so when you stopped, what's the first thing that you did, and the first thing that went through your head, and who was the first person to check on you?
Well, when I went flying off the bike, because I went up and I did a somersault. I don't really know. I must have flipped this way. I don't know. That I'm going by what people told me.
Okay.
I just remember, landing extremely hard on my back.
Okay.
Because I landed right flat like that. And I couldn't breathe. I could not catch my breath for like 2 breaths. I couldn't catch my breath, and then I was just kind of off in a little zombie land.
Yeah.
The first person I saw, I don't remember if it was either Dawn or Denise, because I know Denise, I heard her, she was sitting behind me, holding my head in place. And I think Dawn was there trying to get me to wake up.
Okay.
But I don't remember exactly who was there first. There was a lot of people by the time I came to.
Was any of it in slow motion? I know that when I've had a car accident in the past, it seemed like everything slowed down.
No, I don't remember anything in a slow motion per se. I just remember like a dream.
Okay.
The dream feeling. It was like I was in another little world, and all kinds of thoughts were going through my head, but I couldn't tell you what they were right now, except for this is happening, and it was just really weird. It was just I can't tell you what it is, but they told me that I was out for, I don't know, I think they said 30 seconds, but all I know is they said my eyes were bouncing. Yeah. And I think that's probably when I was just kind of like not with it.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was going on around me.
I hadn't asked anyone exactly what happened because I didn't want any preconceived thoughts coming into this. I kind of, told you I had a couple of questions, but I also wanted to see where it went as well. After they take you to the hospital, did you go immediately or did you go home?
No, I was life flighted.
You were life flighted.
Yeah, so what it was is that where we had landed, we were so far out in the middle of nowhere, nobody could get a cell phone signal.
Yeah.
So Ronnie, he rode up on the top of a hill trying to get a signal, and I think someone else went door to door looking for a signal. So then, so with that, we had to wait for an ambulance first. Cop arrived first, then the ambulance got there. They loaded me in the ambulance. Everybody had to help get me loaded onto the stretcher because I was crooked in the ditch, and they couldn't get me on the board. So then they loaded me in the ambulance. Ambulance had to ride to a church parking lot so that the helicopter could life flight me back to Nashville.
When they were talking to you, do you remember any of that stuff, the helicopter ride? Was that your first helicopter ride?
Well, it wasn't my first helicopter ride. It was my first one in a life flight helicopter. But you can't see. And everybody asked me, so what did you see? I said I saw the ceiling of the helicopter. That's all I could see. Because, I was strapped, completely strapped. It was just more of, they had me drugged up by that point. By the time they put me in the ambulance, they started giving me pain pills because I was having back pain, hip pain, leg pain. So they just kept pumping me with drugs. So I was really kind of.
And how long were you in the hospital?
I was only in there till like 10:30 that night when I got released, and I went home.
So I was gonna ask you, while you were in there, did you have time to reflect? But during your recovery, as you were at home, did you have time to reflect on your accident? Did things start to, oh yeah, I remember this? Did more of your memory start to come back a little bit?
More of my memory started to come back when everybody started showing me pictures, because they all took pictures. Everybody took pictures of the bike, they took where I landed, they took pictures of the road. But as far as remembering and reflecting on the accident, as I talked to people, I had a group of people come over the next day, Don and Nancy and Ronnie and Christian all come over to see how things were going, and we were talking about it. It was just things start coming back a little at a time, because it was just so surreal after the first couple days that, because I was sore. Yeah. I couldn't hardly walk. My knee was all tore up.
Tell me what your takeaway is as far as after the accident, so how many days has it been since that accident happened right now?
Well, let's see, it was June 29th was the accident.
All right.
And I just started riding back again on my own in, let's see, I've had the bike about a month.
It's almost been 3 months since the accident.
Has it been that much? Gosh. So it was about 6 weeks before I got back on a bike. 5 or 6 weeks, something like that, because I had to wait for the insurance to settle, and then I went out and found a bike and along that line, and but yeah, I'm back on riding.
Any nervous thoughts the first time you?
First couple times, yes. First couple times I was very nervous, mainly back roads and turns.
Yep.
And when I first got on the first you're getting used to a new bike.
Yep.
And it was a bigger bike. Plus I had my own little concerns, which I didn't even realize I did until I got on the bike and started riding. Taking my eyes off the road for any purpose made me very nervous, and I'm sure it had to do with me looking down, especially before a turn.
Yeah. So tell me what, after this accident, after you had time to reflect, what's the one thing that you learned that would help you so this situation doesn't happen to you again? And then tell me what you would tell somebody so they could possibly prevent something like this from happening.
A few things that I learned, taken away from it, is that when you ride staggered, you don't need to be hugging the line. Okay. And to remember that whole lane is yours.
Right.
And so the things that I was always worried about was, one, following too closely. Somebody slid on the brakes. There's two, someone coming up beside me, because some people like to drift up next to you, which is bad, because if I would have went to turn with that staggering anyway, and if somebody would have been floating up on the left, I wouldn't have been able to avoid it anyway.
Right.
But that's what I took away from that, is one, I never hug the line. And when it comes to corners, I never stagger. I will no longer stagger on a corner. I will ride the center of the road or ride whatever way I need to ride
Right.
to make sure my turn is safe.
So basically, when riding in a stagger, you'll just fall back into single file as you go into the turn, because that entire lane is yours even when you're staggered.
Exactly. And when you're, especially when you're coming up on those tight turns that are at 20 miles an hour and it's a tight turn, you need to have all that, because some people, I mean, the technical, if I remember right, is to outside in,
Right.
right? And some people don't do that. Some people ride center, some people come out, some people, so I just keep that as mine. That is mine. And I'm not gonna, I will no longer ride stagger on a turn unless it's a, you know, interstate big turn.
So if you were gonna tell somebody, hey, after listening to this story, after hearing about your accident and what happened, what you went through, what would you tell somebody who is not just new to riding but has been riding, and so they don't encounter a situation like this?
Well, a few things, because there's a few factors that led to that, not just me hugging the line.
Okay.
There was fatigue, if you ride too long without taking a break.
Okay.
Dehydration, make sure that you have plenty of water, because we did not stop enough for water.
Okay.
So I was tired, I was dehydrated. Of course, I'm keeping up with the leader. Not that I don't necessarily know if I was going too fast, but I was obviously going too fast in that situation for that turn.
Mm-hmm.
If I wouldn't have been hugging the line, I probably would have recovered from the turn.
Okay.
So, and to just really focus on the road, and make sure that, I don't mean the immediate road, you gotta look far.
Right.
Because a lot of people like to look at the immediate road, which doesn't help you any. But that's what I've learned from my situation when I would tell any rider is staggering does not mean you lose your lane. You do not have to hug the lane. Make sure that you have plenty of rest and plenty of liquids.
Okay. So basically with that, you're saying be sure and ride your own ride even when you're in a group.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Always ride your own ride. Don't try and keep up with Mr. whoever in front of you or whoever's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what they're doing unless they're, you know, what matters is that you keep them in the rear view mirror, you know where they're at. You keep the person in front of you so you know where they're at, and you keep your ride going so you're safe.
Gotcha.
Because if you're not safe, they're not safe.
Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you sitting down, and I know that you didn't have to do this, so I appreciate that you sat down and you're going to enable me to put this out there. And well, that's it. You guys be sure and if you have any comments, if there's anything that you could think of that you want to ask, and maybe we can get those comments over to Tina, just put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone.